The rain was coming down hard that Tuesday afternoon, turning the busy downtown streets into a maze of puddles and hurried footsteps. Maya wiped down the glass door of her small flower shop for the third time that day, watching people rush past, with their umbrellas and jackets pulled tight. Business had been slow lately, and days like this made it even worse. Who wants to buy flowers when they're just trying to stay dry? Maya had owned Petals and Dreams for almost 3 years now, since her husband passed away and left her looking for a new purpose in life. The shop wasn't much to look at from the outside, just a narrow storefront squeezed between a coffee shop and a dry cleaner. But inside, it was her little piece of heaven. Bright roses, cheerful sunflowers, and delicate baby's breath filled every corner with color and life. She was arranging some fresh daisies when something outside caught her eye. A young boy in a wheelchair was struggling to get up the sidewalk. The wheels kept getting stuck in the cracks, and the rain was making everything slippery. Maya guessed he was around 12 years old, maybe 13. His dark hair was soaked, and his jacket looked too thin for weather like this. What really struck her was how he stopped right in front of her window display. Even though he was getting drenched, he just sat there staring at the flowers. His face lit up like he was seeing something magical. Maya had put together that arrangement herself, white lilies mixed with purple irises and some greenery. She was proud of it, but seeing this kid's reaction made her feel something warm in her chest. The boy reached up and wiped rainwater from his glasses, then leaned forward in his wheelchair to get a better look. Maya could see him mouthing the names of the flowers. That's when she made up her mind. She grabbed a towel and hurried outside, not even bothering with an umbrella. "Hey there," she called out, trying not to startle him. "You're getting soaked out here. Want to come inside where it's warm?" The boy looked up at her with the biggest brown eyes she'd ever seen. For a second he seemed nervous, like he wasn't sure if he should trust her. Then he smiled, and Maya felt her heart melt a little. "I don't want to bother you," he said politely. His voice was soft, and Maya could tell he was trying hard to speak clearly, despite what looked like some kind of speech difficulty. "No bother at all," Maya said, already moving to help him up the small ramp she'd installed when she first opened the shop. "I could use the company anyway. This rain's keeping all my customers away." Once inside, Maya handed him the towel and watched as he looked around the shop with wonder. "I'm Maya," she said, extending her hand. "I'm Alex," the boy replied, shaking her hand with a grip that was surprisingly strong. "Your flowers are beautiful. I've never seen so many different kinds in one place." Maya felt herself smiling for the first time all day. "Thank you. That means a lot coming from someone who obviously knows his flowers. I saw you naming them outside." Alex's cheeks turned a little red. "I like to read about plants and flowers. I have some books about them. Well, I used to have more, but..." He trailed off, looking down at his hands. Maya sensed there was a story there, but she didn't want to pry. Instead, she busied herself making hot chocolate from the small electric kettle she kept in the back room. "How do you like your hot chocolate? Extra marshmallows or just a few?" "Extra marshmallows sounds amazing," Alex said, his eyes lighting up again. "If that's okay." "More than okay. I always put too many in mine anyway." As Maya prepared the drinks, Alex wheeled himself closer to a display of yellow roses. "These are beautiful," he said. "Yellow roses mean friendship, right? And new beginnings?" Maya paused, impressed. Most adults didn't know the meanings behind different flowers. "That's exactly right, you really do know your stuff." "I want to be a botanist someday," Alex said quietly. "You know, someone who studies plants and flowers. I know it might sound silly because of..." He gestured toward his wheelchair. "That doesn't sound silly at all," Maya said firmly, bringing over the hot chocolate. "Some of the best botanists I've read about spent most of their time sitting anyway, studying and taking notes. Plus, you already know more about flower meanings than half the people who come in here." Alex took a sip of his hot chocolate and got a marshmallow mustache that made Maya chuckle. He wiped it off, grinning. "This is really good. Thank you." They sat together near the window, watching the rain continue to fall. Maya learned that Alex was waiting for his ride to pick him up from physical therapy down the street. He went twice, a week to work on building strength in his arms and improving his coordination. "Where's your ride now?" Maya asked, checking her watch. It had been almost an hour since Alex first came in. Alex pulled out an old flip phone and checked it for messages. His face fell. Nothing. Sometimes Mrs. Chen forgets. She has a lot of kids to keep track of. Mrs. Chen, my foster mom, she's really nice, but she's got 4 other kids and I'm the only one who needs to go to therapy and doctor appointments and stuff. Sometimes it's hard for her to remember everything. Maya felt her heart squeeze. This sweet, intelligent boy was talking about being forgotten like it was no big deal, like he was used to it. She looked outside at the rain, which showed no signs of stopping, then made a decision. How about I give you a ride home? I was getting ready to close up anyway. Alex's eyes widened. Really? But you don't even know me. And I live kind of far. I know you're a good kid who loves flowers and has the best manners of anyone who's come into my shop all week, Maya said. That's enough for me. Besides, what kind of person would I be if I let you sit here all night waiting for a ride that might not come? Alex was quiet for a moment, then nodded. Okay, but only if you're sure it's not too much trouble. No trouble at all. As Maya gathered her things and locked up the shop, Alex told her more about himself. He'd been in foster care for as long as he could remember. The Chen family was his 3rd placement in 4 years, but they were the kindest. He did well in school and loved to read, especially books about science and nature. During the drive across town, Maya found herself amazed by this young boy's resilience and intelligence. Despite everything he'd been through, he had dreams and goals. He talked about different types of plants with the enthusiasm most kids reserve for video games or sports. When they pulled up to a modest house with toys scattered in the front yard, Maya made an impulsive decision. Alex, she said as he was getting ready to transfer back to his wheelchair. How would you feel about coming by the shop sometime? I could teach you about arranging flowers and maybe you could help me with some of the easier tasks. I've been thinking I could use an assistant. Alex's face lit up brighter than any flower arrangement Maya had ever made. You mean it? Really? Really. In fact, why don't you come by after school tomorrow? I'll show you how to make a proper bouquet. As Maya helped Alex get to his front door, she couldn't shake the feeling that this rainy Tuesday afternoon had changed something in her life. She'd gone from having one of her worst business days to meeting someone who reminded her why she loved flowers in the first place. Watching Alex wheel himself up the ramp to his house, Maya realized she was already looking forward to tomorrow, in a way she hadn't felt in months. Sometimes the best things in life really did come when you least expected them. The next afternoon, Maya found herself watching the clock more than usual. She had told Alex to come by after school, but she wasn't sure if he would actually show up. Maybe yesterday had just been a one-time thing brought on by the rain and circumstances. Maybe she had been too forward in inviting him. At exactly 3:30, she heard the familiar sound of wheelchair wheels on the sidewalk outside. Through the window, she could see Alex maneuvering carefully up the small ramp. He had a backpack slung over the back of his chair and was wearing a bright blue jacket that looked much warmer than yesterday's thin one. Right on time, Maya said as he came through the door, and she was surprised by how genuinely happy she felt to see him. I wasn't sure if you really meant it, Alex admitted, parking his wheelchair near the counter. Sometimes adults say things just to be nice, you know? Maya felt a pang in her chest at those words. How many times had this kid been disappointed by broken promises? Well, I definitely meant it. In fact, I've been looking forward to having some help around here. Alex's face brightened immediately. What should I do first? Maya had actually spent her morning thinking about tasks that Alex could do from his wheelchair. She'd rearranged some of the lower shelves and made sure everything he might need was within reach. How about we start with something fun? I'll teach you how to make a simple bouquet. She wheeled over a small cart filled with different flowers and supplies. The secret to a good bouquet isn't just putting pretty flowers together. You have to think about colors, textures, and even what the flowers mean. Alex leaned forward eagerly. Like how yellow roses mean friendship? Exactly. So if someone comes in wanting flowers for a new friend, yellow roses would be perfect. But if they want to apologize to someone, they might choose white roses or even some purple hyacinths. For the next hour, Maya guided Alex through making his first bouquet. She was amazed by how naturally he took to it. His hands moved carefully but confidently as he arranged the stems, and he had an eye for a color that surprised her. When he held up the finished product, a small arrangement of white daisies, purple statice, and baby's breath, Maya felt genuinely proud. "Alex, that's beautiful. You're a natural at this." Alex beamed, holding the bouquet up to catch the afternoon light streaming through the window. "Can I really keep it?" "Of course, it's your first creation. You should be proud of it." As the weeks passed, Alex became a regular part of Maya's daily routine. He would arrive after school, help with simple tasks like sorting flowers, cleaning stems, and learning about different varieties. Maya was constantly surprised by how much he retained. He remembered the scientific names of flowers after hearing them just once, and he could explain the care requirements for different plants better than some florists she knew. More importantly, Maya began to learn about Alex's life outside the flower shop. He lived with the Chen family in a house that always seemed to be bursting with activity. Mrs. Chen was kind but overwhelmed with 5 children, each with their own needs and schedules. Alex often felt like he was just one more thing for her to worry about. "She's really good to me," Alex would always say when talking about his foster mother. "I just don't want to be a burden, you know? The other kids don't need as much help getting around or getting to appointments." Maya's heart ached every time Alex talked about not wanting to be a burden. She started to understand that this bright, capable boy had spent most of his life trying to make himself as small and unnoticeable as possible. One afternoon in late October, Alex seemed quieter than usual. He was working on arranging some autumn flowers, orange marigolds and deep red chrysanthemums, but his usual enthusiasm was missing. "Everything okay today?" Maya asked gently. Alex was quiet for a long moment. Then, without looking up from the flowers, he said, "Next week is my birthday. I'll be 13. "That's exciting." "Are you having a party?" Alex shook his head. "Mrs. Chen mentioned maybe getting a cake, but she's got a lot going on. Tommy has a soccer tournament that weekend, and the twins have some school thing. It's okay, though, I don't really need a party." The way he said it, so matter-of-fact, so resigned, made Maya's chest tighten. She thought about her own childhood birthdays, how her parents had always made such a big deal about them. Even small celebrations with homemade cake and a few presents had made her feel special and loved. That night, Maya couldn't stop thinking about Alex's upcoming birthday. She found herself staying up late, planning something special. She wasn't sure if she was overstepping, but she couldn't bear the thought of this wonderful kid spending his 13th birthday feeling forgotten. The following week, Maya told Alex she needed his help with a special project on his birthday afternoon. "I have this order for a really important arrangement and I could use your artistic eye," she said. Alex arrived at the shop that Friday after school, not suspecting anything. Maya had closed the shop early and decorated the entire space with balloons and streamers. She'd spent hours creating a massive flower arrangement using all of Alex's favorite blooms: sunflowers, purple irises, and white roses. In the center of the arrangement was a small sign that read, "Happy 13th birthday, Alex." When Alex wheeled into the shop and saw the decorations, he stopped so suddenly that Maya worried something was wrong. Then she saw the tears in his eyes. "You did all this for me?" he whispered. "Of course I did. Everyone deserves to feel special on their birthday." Maya had also baked a chocolate cake from scratch and bought a few small gifts: a book about botanical illustration, a set of colored pencils, and a small potted orchid that Alex could care for himself. When she brought out the cake with 13 candles blazing, Alex started crying in earnest. "I can't remember the last time someone made me a cake," he said through his tears, "or bought me presents that weren't just things I needed like clothes or medicine." Maya felt her own eyes getting misty. "Well, get used to it, because as long as we're friends, every birthday is going to be special." Alex wiped his eyes and looked at her seriously. "Why are you so nice to me? Most people just see the wheelchair and feel sorry for me, or they act like I'm made of glass, but you treat me like I'm just normal." Maya sat down so she was at his eye level. "Alex, you are the smartest, kindest, most interesting 13-year-old I've ever met. You know more about flowers than most adults. You work harder than anyone I know, and you have dreams and goals that inspire me every day. I don't see your wheelchair when I look at you. I see an amazing young man who's going to do incredible things someday. That afternoon, Mrs. Chen came to pick up Alex, arriving just as they were finishing the last piece of cake. When she saw the decorations and the happiness on Alex's face, her eyes filled with tears. "You did all this for his birthday?" she asked Maya quietly. "He's a special kid. He deserves to be celebrated." Mrs. Chen watched as Alex showed off his new book and carefully positioned his potted orchid in his backpack. "You know, Alex talks about this place constantly, about you and the flowers and everything he's learning. I haven't seen him this happy since, well, maybe ever." As they prepared to leave, Alex turned to Maya with the biggest smile she'd ever seen from him. "This was the best birthday of my whole life. Thank you for making me feel important." After they left, Maya cleaned up the party decorations with a full heart. She realized that somewhere along the way Alex had become more than just a kid who helped out at her shop. He had become the bright spot in her days, the reason she looked forward to coming to work. He had brought purpose and joy back into her life in a way she hadn't expected. Looking at the flower arrangement she'd made for his birthday still sitting proudly on the counter, Maya made a silent promise. She would do whatever it took to make sure Alex never felt forgotten or unimportant again. This kid deserved the world, and if she could give him even a small piece of it, she would. 3 months had passed since Alex's birthday party, and the flower shop had become his second home. Every day after school, he would wheel himself through the door with stories about his classes and eager questions about the new flowers Maya had received. She had started ordering some exotic plants just to see his face light up when he learned about them. It was a cold February evening, and Maya was showing Alex how to create a Valentine's Day arrangement when she noticed the expensive black car parked outside. She'd been in business long enough to know that most of her customers didn't drive cars like that. Through the window, she could see 2 people in dark suits sitting inside, just watching the shop. "That's weird," Maya murmured, more to herself than to Alex. "What's weird?" Alex asked, looking up from the red roses he was arranging. "There's been a car outside for about 20 minutes. They're just sitting there." Alex wheeled over to the window and peered out. His face suddenly went pale. "Do you think they're here about me? Did I do something wrong?" Maya felt a protective instinct kick in immediately. "You haven't done anything wrong, sweetheart. You're the best kid I know." But even as she said it, she felt a knot forming in her stomach. The car doors opened and 2 people stepped out. A woman with short gray hair and a tall man carrying a briefcase walked toward the shop. They looked official, professional, and very serious. Maya instinctively moved closer to Alex. The bell above the door chimed as they entered. The woman smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Good evening. I'm Detective Rodriguez, and this is Mr. Thompson from the legal firm of Thompson and Associates. We're looking for Alex Chen." Alex's hand started shaking. Maya had never seen him look so scared. "I'm Alex," he said quietly. "We'd like to speak with you privately, Alex," Mr. Thompson said, his voice formal and cold. "Anything you need to say to Alex, you can say in front of me," Maya said firmly, stepping slightly in front of his wheelchair. "I'm his friend." Detective Rodriguez exchanged a look with Mr. Thompson. "Ma'am, this is a very sensitive matter involving a minor. We really should speak with Alex alone." "No," Alex said suddenly, his voice stronger than Maya expected. "If you want to talk to me, Maya stays. She's the only person who's ever really cared about me." Maya felt her heart swell with pride at his courage, even though she could see how frightened he was. Mr. Thompson sighed and opened his briefcase. "Very well. Alex, what I'm about to tell you is going to change your life completely. We represent the estate of tech billionaire David Castellanos, who died in a plane crash 3 years ago." Maya frowned. She'd heard of David Castellanos. His company had created some of the most popular apps and software in the world. But what did that have to do with Alex? "We've been conducting a search for any unknown heirs to Mr. Castellanos' estate," Detective Rodriguez continued. "Through DNA testing of children in the foster care system, we've discovered something remarkable. Alex was gripping the arms of his wheelchair so tightly his knuckles were white. Maya reached out and put a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Alex," Mr. Thompson said, pulling out a thick folder of documents. "David Castellanos was your father." The words hung in the air like a bomb that hadn't exploded yet. Maya felt like someone had knocked the wind out of her. Alex just stared at the man, his mouth slightly open. "That's impossible," Alex whispered. "My mother died when I was born. I don't know who my father was. Nobody ever told me anything about him. Your mother, Linda Martinez, had a brief relationship with Mr. Castellanos 13 years ago," Detective Rodriguez explained gently. "She never told him she was pregnant. After she died in childbirth, you were placed in the foster care system. Mr. Castellanos never knew he had a son." Maya's mind was racing. This sweet, brilliant boy who helped her arrange flowers and dreamed of becoming a botanist was the son of one of the richest men in the country? "We've done extensive DNA testing," Mr. Thompson continued, showing them official-looking documents. "There's no doubt you are David Castellanos' only child and heir." "What does that mean?" Alex asked, his voice small and confused. Mr. Thompson's expression softened slightly. "It means, Alex, that you've just inherited a fortune worth over $3 billion. Maya felt like the room was spinning. $3 billion. She could barely comprehend that amount of money. Alex looked like he might faint. "I don't understand," Alex said. $3 billion? That can't be real." "It's very real," Detective Rodriguez said. "You own technology companies, real estate all over the world, and investment accounts worth more money than most people can imagine." "But I live in a foster home," Alex said, as if that somehow made the whole thing impossible. "I take the bus to school. I don't have any money. Mrs. Chen clips coupons to buy groceries." "That's all about to change," Mr. Thompson said. "You'll need to come with us tonight. There are legal procedures to follow, and you'll need to meet your new guardian." "New guardian?" Maya's voice came out sharper than she intended. "Mr. Castellanos' sister, Victoria Wright, has been managing the estate. She'll be taking care of Alex until he comes of age." Alex turned to Maya with panic in his eyes. "I don't want to go anywhere. I want to stay here. I want to keep helping with the flowers." Maya's heart was breaking. She could see how overwhelmed and scared Alex was. "It's okay," she said softly, even though nothing felt okay. This is an amazing opportunity for you." "Alex," Mr. Thompson said, checking his watch. "Mrs. Wright is waiting to meet you. We have a car outside. What about my things? What about Mrs. Chen and the other kids? What about—" Alex looked at Maya with tears in his eyes. "What about the flowers?" "You can visit," Detective Rodriguez said, though she didn't sound very convincing. "But your life is going to be very different now. You'll have private tutors, the best medical care, and opportunities you never imagined." Maya knelt down next to Alex's wheelchair. "Listen to me," she said quietly. "This doesn't change who you are. You're still the same brilliant, kind, amazing person you were 5 minutes ago. You just happen to have inherited something incredible. But what if they don't like me? What if I don't fit in? What if they think I'm not good enough because of my disability?" "Then they're idiots," Maya said firmly. "Anyone who gets to know you is lucky. Don't ever forget that." Mr. Thompson was packing up his papers. "Alex, we really need to go. Mrs. Wright has been waiting 3 years to meet her nephew." Alex looked around the flower shop, at the arrangements they'd been working on, at the plants he'd helped care for, at the place where he'd felt happiest and most valued. Maya could see him trying to memorize everything. "Can I come back tomorrow?" he asked. "We'll see," Mr. Thompson said in a tone that sounded like a polite no. As they prepared to leave, Alex grabbed Maya's hand. "Thank you for everything. For the birthday party, for teaching me about flowers, for making me feel important. You are important, Alex. Don't ever let anyone make you feel otherwise." Maya watched through the window as they helped Alex into the back seat of the expensive car. He pressed his face against the glass and waved at her until the car disappeared around the corner. Standing alone in her flower shop, surrounded by the Valentine's arrangements they'd been working on together, Maya felt like a piece of her heart had just driven away. She was happy for Alex. This inheritance would give him opportunities she could never provide. But she also knew that their simple, beautiful friendship was about to become something much more complicated. She looked at the half-finished bouquet Alex had been working on, red roses carefully arranged with baby's breath. Tomorrow she would finish it herself. But it wouldn't be the same without his careful hands and eager questions. Maya had always believed that some people came into your life for a reason. Alex had brought joy and purpose back to her world when she needed it most. Now she could only hope that wherever this new life took him, he would remember that he was loved exactly as he was. The mansion was nothing like anything Alex had ever seen, even in movies. As the car pulled up the long, winding driveway, he pressed his face against the window and counted at least 20 rooms just from what he could see. Perfectly manicured gardens stretched in every direction, with fountains and stone statues that probably cost more than most people's houses. "Welcome to your new home," Mr. Thompson said as they stopped in front of massive wooden doors. Alex felt sick to his stomach. This didn't feel like home. Home was Mrs. Chen's crowded house with toys scattered everywhere and the smell of her cooking. Home was Maya's flower shop with its bright colors and warm hugs. This place looked like a museum where he'd be afraid to touch anything. The front doors opened before they even reached them. A tall, elegant woman in an expensive suit walked out, followed by two teenagers who looked like they'd stepped out of a magazine. The woman had the same dark eyes as Alex, and he realized this must be his Aunt Victoria. "Alex," she said, and her voice was warm but formal. "I'm your Aunt Victoria. I've been waiting so long to meet you." She bent down to hug him, and Alex awkwardly hugged her back. She smelled like expensive perfume, nothing like the familiar scents he was used to. "These are your cousins," Victoria continued, gesturing to the teenagers behind her. "This is David Jr. We call him DJ, and this is Isabella." DJ looked to be about 16, with perfectly styled hair and clothes that probably cost more than Alex's wheelchair. He nodded at Alex, but didn't say anything. Isabella, who seemed about 14, gave Alex a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Hi, cousin," she said in a voice that sounded sweet but felt cold. As they went inside, Alex's wheelchair glided silently across marble floors, so shiny he could see his reflection. The ceiling was so high he had to crane his neck to see it, and there were paintings on the walls that looked like they belonged in art museums. "We've prepared a room for you," Victoria said, leading them down a hallway lined with more expensive-looking art. "It's on the first floor, of course, so you won't have any trouble getting around." Alex's new room was bigger than the entire living room at Mrs. Chen's house. It had its own bathroom, a huge bed, a desk, and a TV that took up half the wall. Through the large windows he could see the gardens and a swimming pool. "Do you like it?" Victoria asked, watching his face carefully. "It's very nice," Alex said, because he didn't know what else to say. It was nice, but it didn't feel like his. Nothing in this room showed that a 13-year-old boy lived here. Everything was perfect and untouched. That night at dinner, Alex sat at a table so long he could barely see the other end. A woman in a uniform brought out food he'd never heard of, served on plates that looked too fancy to actually eat from. Back at Mrs. Chen's, everyone fought over who got the last piece of pizza. Here there was enough food for 20 people, and everyone ate in polite, quiet conversation. "So, Alex," Victoria said, cutting her food with precise movements, "tomorrow we'll start getting you settled. We've arranged for private tutors to come to the house. The best money can buy." "What about regular school?" Alex asked. He actually liked school, especially his science classes. DJ snorted. "Trust me, you don't want to go to regular school anymore. Private tutors are way better, more flexible." "But what about my friends?" Isabella looked up from her plate. "What friends? You've been in foster care your whole life. It's not like you have real friends." "Isabella," Victoria said sharply. That was unkind, but the damage was done. Alex felt his cheeks burn with embarrassment. He thought about Maya, about how she always listened to his stories and made him feel important. Isabella was wrong, he did have a real friend. But sitting in this enormous dining room, surrounded by people who shared his blood but felt like strangers, Maya seemed very far away. The days that followed blurred together in a confusing mix of lawyers, doctors, and tutors. Everyone wanted to help Alex, but nobody asked what he actually wanted. Victoria arranged for the best physical therapist in the city to come to the house. She bought him a new state-of-the-art wheelchair that probably cost more than most cars. She hired tutors for every subject imaginable. But when Alex asked if he could visit Maya's flower shop, Victoria always had an excuse. You have a tutoring session. The lawyers need to meet with you. We have a family dinner planned. After 2 weeks, Alex finally worked up the courage to ask directly. Aunt Victoria, I really want to see my friend Maya. She owns a flower shop downtown, and I used to help her after school. Victoria set down her coffee cup and looked at him seriously. Alex, I know this transition is difficult, but you need to understand that your life is very different now. You can't just go wandering around the city anymore. There are security, concerns, media attention, and frankly, you need to be careful about people who might try to take advantage of your new situation. Maya's not like that, Alex protested. She was kind to me before she knew anything about money or inheritance. She's my friend. I'm sure she seemed very nice, Victoria said in a tone that suggested she thought the opposite. But people change when they find out someone is worth billions of dollars. I'm just trying to protect you. Alex felt frustrated tears building up. You don't understand. Maya isn't like that. She made me a birthday party when no one else remembered. She taught me about flowers and made me feel smart and important. DJ looked up from his phone. Dude, she probably knew who you were the whole time. Adults always have reasons for being nice to kids like us. Kids like us? Alex asked. Rich kids. People are always trying to get something from us. That night, Alex lay in his huge, comfortable bed and stared at the ceiling. He missed the sound of Mrs. Chen's other foster kids laughing and arguing. He missed helping Maya arrange flowers and learning about what each one meant. He missed feeling useful and wanted, not just valuable. 2 days later, while his tutor was setting up for their science lesson, Alex made a decision. He had memorized the route from the mansion to Maya's shop during his various car rides around the city. It wasn't that far if he took the bus. He waited until everyone was busy. Victoria was in her office on a conference call. DJ was at tennis practice. Isabella was at some kind of art lesson. Alex quietly made his way to the front door. Getting downtown on his own was harder than he'd expected. The bus system wasn't as wheelchair-friendly as he'd hoped, and he had to ask several strangers for help. But seeing the familiar storefront of petals and dreams made all the difficulty worth it. Maya was arranging some spring flowers when Alex wheeled through the door. She turned around and her face lit up with such pure joy that Alex felt like crying. Alex. Oh my goodness, I've missed you so much. She dropped what she was doing and hurried over to hug him. How are you? Are you okay? I've been so worried. I missed you too, Alex said, and meant it more than anything he'd ever said. I'm sorry I haven't been able to visit. It's complicated. Maya knelt down to his eye level, studying his face. You look tired and sad. Are they treating you well? They're not mean to me, Alex said carefully. They buy me everything I could ever want. But, Maya prompted gently. But I don't feel like me anymore. I feel like I'm just this thing that's worth a lot of money. Nobody asks what I want or what makes me happy. They just decide what's best for me. Maya's expression grew concerned. What do you want, Alex? I want to come back here sometimes. I want to help with the flowers and learn about plants. I want to feel normal again, even if it's just for a little while. Maya smiled, but Alex could see worry in her eyes. You'll always be welcome here. But Alex, are you sure it's okay for you to be here? Won't your family be worried? Just as she said it, Alex's phone started ringing. The caller ID showed Aunt Victoria's number. His stomach dropped. I have to go, he said quietly. They're probably looking for me. As Alex reluctantly answered the phone and heard Victoria's worried and angry voice, he realized his simple visit to the flower shop had just made his new life much more complicated. The car ride back to the mansion was the longest, 15 minutes of Alex's life. Victoria sat beside him in the back seat, her face a mixture of worry and disappointment. She hadn't yelled at him, which somehow made it worse. The silence was suffocating. When they arrived home, Victoria asked him to come to her office. Alex wheeled himself across the marble floor, feeling smaller than ever despite being in the biggest house he'd ever seen. "Alex," Victoria began, sitting behind her massive wooden desk, "I understand that this transition has been difficult for you, but what you did today was dangerous and irresponsible. Do you have any idea how worried we were?" "I'm sorry," Alex said quietly. "I just wanted to see Maya." "This friend of yours," Victoria said, and Alex didn't like the way she said friend, like it was something suspicious. "Alex, I need you to understand something. When word gets out about your inheritance, people are going to come out of nowhere, claiming to be your friend. They'll want money, favors, connections. It happens to wealthy families all the time." "Maya's not like that," Alex insisted. "She was my friend before anyone knew about the money." Victoria pulled out her laptop and turned it toward Alex. On the screen was a news article with a photo of Maya standing outside her flower shop. The headline read, "Local florist befriends billionaire heir." Alex's heart sank. Someone had leaked the story. "The article came out this morning," Victoria explained. "Your friend Maya has been getting calls from reporters all day asking about your relationship. This is exactly why I was trying to protect you." Alex stared at the photo of Maya. She looked overwhelmed and confused, not at all like someone trying to get famous or make money. Did she talk to them? According to this, she refused to comment and asked them to leave her alone. "But Alex, this is just the beginning. Once people know who you are and where you've been spending time, it becomes a circus." That evening at dinner, DJ and Isabella were unusually talkative, both eager to share their thoughts about Alex's adventure. "You can't just disappear like that," DJ said between bites of his expensive meal. "We have security protocols for a reason. What if someone had recognized you and tried to kidnap you or something?" Isabella nodded seriously. "Plus, now that flower lady is probably going to sell her story to the tabloids. They always do." "Her name is Maya," Alex said firmly. "And she would never do that." "How do you know?" Isabella challenged. "You've known her for what? A few months? We've been dealing with fake friends our whole lives." Alex felt his frustration boiling over. "Maybe the problem isn't that people are fake. Maybe the problem is that you assume everyone is fake, so you never let anyone actually care about you." The table went quiet. DJ and Isabella stared at him in shock. Even Victoria looked surprised. "That's not fair, Alex," Victoria said softly. "Isn't it?" Alex asked. "I've been here for 3 weeks, and I feel more lonely than I ever did in foster care. At least there, people saw me as a person, not just a pile of money with feelings." Alex excused himself from dinner and went to his room. He sat by the window looking out at the perfectly manicured gardens, thinking about Maya's little flower shop with its bright colors and warm atmosphere. He thought about how she always asked about his day, how she remembered his favorite flowers, how she made him feel capable and smart. His phone buzzed with a text message. It was from Maya. "Saw the news. Are you okay? I'm here if you need to. Talk." Alex stared at the message for a long time. Even with reporters bothering her and her life being turned upside down because of him, Maya was worried about how he was doing. That told him everything he needed to know about who she really was. The next morning, Alex made a decision. He found Victoria in her office, working on her laptop. "Aunt Victoria," he said, "I need to ask you something important." She looked up and gestured for him to come in. "What is it, Alex?" "I want to use some of my inheritance to help Maya." Victoria frowned. "Alex, we've talked about this. You need to be careful about people who might take advantage of you." "I'm not talking about giving her money because she asked for it. I'm talking about doing something good because I want to. Maya's flower shop is struggling. She's been so focused on helping me that she's neglected her business. The least I can do is help her save it, Alex. And there's something else," Alex continued, his voice growing stronger. "I want to start a foundation, something that helps kids with disabilities pursue their dreams, especially in science and plants and things like that. Maya could run it. She understands what it's like to care about someone who's different. Victoria was quiet for a long moment. Why is this so important to you? Alex thought carefully about his answer. Because Maya taught me that being different doesn't mean being less than. She saw my potential when other people just saw my wheelchair. If I can help other kids feel the way she made me feel, then this inheritance becomes something meaningful instead of just a bunch of money I didn't earn. And you trust this woman that much? I trust her more than anyone, Alex said without hesitation. That afternoon, Victoria surprised Alex by suggesting they visit the flower shop together. I want to meet this person who means so much to you. Maya was watering plants when they arrived. She looked nervous when she saw Victoria, but her face brightened when she saw Alex. Alex, I was so worried about you after yesterday. Maya, Alex, said, I want you to meet my Aunt Victoria. Victoria stepped forward and extended her hand. Ms. Rodriguez, I'm Victoria Wright. I wanted to thank you for being so kind to Alex during a difficult time in his life. Maya shook her hand, looking confused. He's a wonderful kid. It was my pleasure. Alex has told me a lot about you, Victoria continued. He says you taught him about flowers and made him feel valued. He taught me just as much, Maya replied. Alex has a brilliant mind and a gift for understanding plants. He's going to do amazing things someday. Victoria looked around the small shop, taking in the carefully arranged flowers and the obvious care Maya put into everything. Alex has a proposal for you, and frankly, after meeting you, I think it's a good idea. Over the next hour, Alex explained his vision for the foundation. Maya listened with tears in her eyes as he described wanting to help other kids with